I don't really know why I'm telling this story now, but I've kept it bottled up for years, burning me up inside. It's one of those stories that, when I say it out loud, even I can't believe I lived it, that I was the blind protagonist of such a farce. I spent 4 years of my life with a woman I adored blindly and with all my heart. She was attentive, funny, incredibly intelligent, or at least that's what she projected to me every day. I always firmly believed we had something strong, an unbreakable bond that would lead us to build a solid future. I loved her so much that I completely idealized her, placing her on a towering pedestal from which absolutely no one could bring her down. I suppose that because of that same blind love, it was so hard for me to see the obvious, the warning signs that were there from the beginning, screaming the truth in my face. We lived separately because, according to her, she couldn't leave the apartment she shared with her best friend. She argued with great conviction that if she left, her friend wouldn't be able to afford the place on her own, and she also justified it by saying the apartment was only a few blocks from her work, which was incredibly convenient for her routine. I always understood her point of view and was very understanding. It wasn't like I lived on the other side of the world, we could see each other regularly. But after 3 years of a supposedly stable relationship, and after having proposed at least a couple of times, with all the enthusiasm in the world, that we take the next step and live together, the constant rejection began to feel like something deeper, like an invisible and insurmountable barrier that wouldn't let me cross into her real life. Even so, head over heels in love, I swallowed my doubts. I loved her, and in my utter naivete, that was enough for me to keep going, believing that she would eventually change her mind. During the 4th year, things changed drastically and in a way that left me completely bewildered. She became much more elusive, noticeably cold and distant in every way. We saw each other far less, and she always had perfectly crafted excuses to avoid our meetings. I worked quite hard during the day, so my evenings were almost always available to her. But she, who used to stay over at my place without any problem, now found any reason, no matter how small, to leave early or simply not see me all week. Forget about the possibility of me going to her apartment. That had become completely forbidden territory, jealously guarded. I remember one particular night. The atmosphere was tense, and tired of the growing distance, I wanted to have a serious and honest conversation. I told her that it hurt me deeply to feel her drifting away from me. I spoke to her with all the respect in the world, without raising my voice or making unfounded accusations. I just wanted to know what was really going through her mind and heart. She sighed, looked away, and told me she was too stressed, that the workload had left her physically and mentally exhausted to an extreme degree, and that she didn't have the energy to argue. She asked me to please not put any more pressure on her about the overwhelming topic of living together, that now was definitely not the right time to take a leap of faith. She begged me, almost in tears, to understand. And I, foolish and eternally in love, gave in again, understood her, and gave her all the space she demanded. A few days after that conversation, she stayed at my apartment. I was in the shower relaxing and wanted to charge my phone to listen to some music, but my charger was broken. I came out wrapped in a towel and went to her bag to look for hers, with no ill intentions whatsoever. I was just looking for a simple cable. It was at that precise moment that I found a medical envelope sticking out of a compartment. I opened it without thinking too much, genuinely believing it was just routine testing or something unimportant, and I saw the ultrasound. Froze. I felt the floor disappear beneath my feet and the air leave the room. I checked the date. It was almost 2 months old. I waited for her to come out of the bathroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, the envelope trembling violently in my right hand. When she came through the door and saw me holding the test up, her face went as white as paper and she began to cry uncontrollably. Between sobs, she told me she hadn't told me because she was terrified, that she didn't know how I would react to the monumental news of an unplanned pregnancy. I believed her, or perhaps, deep in my broken soul, I wanted to believe her because I loved her madly. Suddenly, the fear transformed into euphoria. I felt immensely happy. I was going to be a father. I got up, hugged her tightly, kissed her forehead, and told her that she could count on me for everything, that I would be there every step of the way in this new chapter.